I need theme music. I should do that. I should have some music playing so I could dance to it. Hello and welcome. That's the lighting situation again. Welcome to an episode of Cooking with Bird. Today we're going to cook some sausage. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm on my hotspot, so should be good. Good to go. Good to go. That's from like a Pepsi commercial or something from like when I was a kid. Hang on, let me. This is great that I can actually look this up. I think it was Pepsi, maybe like a chip commercial. Pepsi, good to go. No. God, this is frustrating me. Good to commercial. There was this thing. People were like, "Good to go." God, maybe it wasn't Pepsi. Good. There will be cooking tonight too. So, and also wasn't Taco Bell. It was before that. Gosh darn it. I don't know. This may be before. No, this stuff. They have old stuff on the internet. Okay. Anyway, this was from some commercial from the early 90s. And I don't. My hair is. Ooh, I can look at that. I need to do something here. My hair is frustrating me because of that. You normally can't see it because I'm taller than you, but it's less of that up there. Anywho, let me get started cooking some stuff. I actually also had a thought right before you connected. What was it? I don't remember. Okay, let me get started. Let me grab the stuff from the fridge, start chopping, and then I'll throw some stuff together. And yeah. On the ground. Which reminds me, real quick, I started to think of a word for Wordle earlier, and I totally blanked on it. The word just came to my head, so I'm gonna just do one guess real quick. Just to see. Come on. Okay, not the word. So anyway, I had an interesting thing this morning. So Thursday, I mowed the yard in tall grass. And the problem with tall grass, and the reason you guys need to be aware of this, is because sometimes in tall grass there are ticks. Ticks are these bugs. They can be about as small as a period in a sentence, or up to like yay big. But they're round. They get legs. And they're present out in the grass and stuff, and they will grab a hold, and they like to just like, they can transmit disease and stuff. And what they do, unlike a mosquito that like, it like wants to bite and like you can shoot away, and it's like, oops, sorry, fly off. These things like they really dig in, and like you have to like use the tweezers, and there's mommy knows how to do all this stuff. So it's not a big deal. It's just something to be aware of when you're out in the grass and stuff. To check your legs, and then they really like warm areas. They also like hair. So I found one right here, or no, right here, right there. I thought I have a mole on this side that's the same size and shape, but it's here, and so I had to get tweezers and pop it up. So resolved, no big deal. Hopefully, but just something to be aware of that. Out in the especially the tall grass. So it's a public service announcement for this evening. Now it's time to try some sausage. My mom used to pick on me because I would say like chucking instead of chicken. I don't know why I said it. I think it was like one time. I don't remember saying chucking very often, but apparently I said it at least once. And also instead of sausage, it's sussage. So this stuff I got on sale, normally like $6, and it was like $1. So I was like, okay. And it had some really good. So I'm not gonna, you tuned in for the silliness, not necessarily to see me cut some meat. So I'm just gonna keep this down here, and I'll try to be silly. So anyway, work's interesting. There's a lot of things not working. So earlier this month, we get in and they have this thing called a switchboard, which is where all the switches and dials and gauges and stuff for all the electrical stuff. It's basically on one wall. So it's not really a wall. It's more of like a shelf in the middle of the room. So it has a back that you can get to and a front that you can use. It has wires and like bus work, which is like these big copper bars where all like the high voltage is going through. So you don't really run cables. You have like a bus bar that runs like the whole length of it, and all the high voltage stuff just sort of like taps off of that. So it works. It's convenient and efficient. That's the word. Convenient and efficient. So switchboards are a thing. And normally there's one day where GBS goes in and we clean the switchboard, and it's very involved, and we have to open up the panels and do all this stuff. But also one of our subcontractors, Eaton, when they go in, they have to get into all the circuit breakers that are on the switchboard. So it's very involved for them too. And so there's one day where we're sort of like in each other's way, but like it's only really one day. But for the most part, Eaton can kind of do their own thing. So anyway, like Monday or Tuesday, or I guess they got there Tuesday, they start working and they're taking up as much room as they need to take up. And suddenly these three like Coast Guard guys show up like, hi, we're got to get in there. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? Oh, we're here for gauge calibration. It's like, oh, sure, I guess you have to do that. And they're just jumping around. I guess we're going to start here. And the Eaton guy's like, oh, I guess I'm going over there now. Get out of your way. They're cool. They're flexible and adaptable. So anyway, so today we go to turn on a generator. And the generator, might be like 450 volts, which house voltage is like 120. So it's like 450. It's like 4 times as high. Or if you're going to like do like distribution, you use even higher voltage, like in the thousands of volts. So like the main distribution for this ship is like 4,160 volts. So it's 35 times as high as your house voltage. So it's increasingly dangerous. Fortunately, what's kind of funny is especially for this ship, is the only way to get 4160 is if the main generators are on. You can't get it from shore power for this one. So the switchboard space is like on the other side of the wall from the engines. So you can hear if the engines are on. You can hear if they're starting. So if you happen to be in the switchboard, you can get out plenty of time. But anyway, so it's always de-energized when we go in. It's not safe to go in when it's live. So that being said, so these guys go in there into the switchboard, and they do the gauge cal stuff. And so fast forward to today, we turn on the generator. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is so you have this high voltage stuff, but the things that actually measure it, they don't like voltage that high. Like they really don't. So what you do is like say you have 450 volts and you want to measure that. Usually use a transformer. So you step it from 450 or 460. Sorry. In this example, you use 480 to 120. Use a transformer and it does that very well. It increases the current by 4. It decreases the voltage by 4. It's a ratio. As long as the power is the same, it changes the voltage and the current. Anyway, so for this application, everything is 450 volts. And what we're actually measuring is 115 volts. So the things we're using, the sensors and all the different mechanisms, and there's like, honestly, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things that all are like sensing, say, the voltage. So the wires are going everywhere, and they're all those devices are measuring 115 volts instead of 460 volts. It's safer, more convenient, all that. So anyway, one of the things that it's measuring, or one of the things that measures it, is a watt meter. The watt meter is connected to both the voltage and frequency, because if you could multiply voltage times current, you get watts. Or actually, you get volt amps, and if there's no power factor, it's the same thing as watts. But if there's a power factor, you use some trigonometry, and there's an angle of the voltage and the current, and they don't line up quite right. But anyway, for basic applications, it's volts times amps is watts. So like a 60 watt bulb. So you take 60 watts divided by 120 volts, and what you get is like a half amp. So light bulbs, old school light bulbs are like half of an amp of their current. So anyway, so we go to start it, and this a fuse blows. Now, typically what happens for a fuse to blow, it means that it's exceeded its current. 9 times out of 10, what happens is you have a short to ground. So normally, imagine a pipe, and the water is flowing through the pipe, and it's got some resistance, so it doesn't. It goes as fast as it can, but it's only so fast because it has to go through a lot of bends and turns. Current's the same way through wires, but let's see. It gets to the end of the pipe, right, and it comes out. But let's say you had a hole in the side of the pipe. Well, the water is going to shoot out of that much faster than it would. Like, there's no resistance to the current flow. Like normally, you've got it going through all sorts of things, and it's not just a pipe. Let's say the water also goes through like a little spinning bit. So it's that little spinning bit's going to use energy from the water, and it's going to have less energy. So by the end, you've used up all the energy, ideally. But anyway, so if you had like a hole in the pipe water is going to shoot a lot faster. It's going to exceed the fuse rating. And so let me cut up some more sausage. So what you have 9 times out of 10, when you have a fuse blowing, you have a short of some sort where current is flowing way too easily, either to ground or to some other device. So sure enough, after tracing out a bunch of stuff, we find that earlier this month, when they calibrated the gauge and they disconnected the wires, they reconnected them incorrectly. There's a jumper involved, a wire that goes from one place to another, and they connected a wire incorrectly. Of course, incorrectly, but they put it on one terminal. It was supposed to go on a different terminal, and so it connected these two wires together. And so every time you checked them, you saw that there was like zero resistance between them. So we fixed that. I fixed that. That's what my job is. I fix those sorts of things. And then it worked just fine. We had a similar issue like 3 years ago where there's a thing called an ammeter, which measures current. I mean, the thing about an ammeter is all of the ammeters all have to be in series because all of the devices on a circuit all have the same current. So it's the same flow of water or current. Meanwhile, voltage can be sensed in parallel. But anyway, get more into that later. But so you have several different devices all measuring the current for different reasons. Some of them are computer things. Some of them are like just for gauges, like of a meter. A number of reasons to measure the current. So, and this is a couple years ago, right? So one of the things that measures